we've always really liked the Fast and Furious movies, and they have the green Eclipse. That was my favorite car growing up, and I just said to my brother one day, I was like, this is Dimitri, my oldest brother. I was like, dude, you could get Eclipses for like $3,000, and there's museums selling them for 60, designed like the one in Fast and Furious. And I sat and talked to this museum called Volo in Chicago, and they just collect a bunch of cars, and they were offering to buy one off me if I make it. So I was like, you know what? Like, it just started off as something small, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. So I drove 5 hours up north to buy this Mitsubishi Eclipse, and shout out to Dio for coming with me because I never have driven a manual in my life, and we had to drive it 5 hours back. Jesus. So we drove it back. Everything was fine. We got pulled over at the end because we didn't have plates or anything. Everything's fine. Next day, I drove it. The front axle snapped off and the wheel fell off. And I'm like, well, fuck me, bro. This sucks. Yeah. This sucks so bad. But it was only like, I think
Was it a convertible Eclipse?
No.
I had a homie with a convertible Eclipse in high school.
Dude, I mess with the convertibles too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are tight. That just the Eclipse for the 90s, man, like, it's super sick.
So what's the Eclipse from the movie that you like? We'll have Mike pull it up here.
Yeah, so just type in Fast and Furious Eclipse. It will be the first one that pops up. So, if you've seen the Fast and Furious movies, it's the first car that Paul Walker drives. So this is like one of the most famous cars in the whole franchise. It's a little outdated now because like this is 90s style cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's this one right here.
Wow.
So yeah, I got this car. We got the axle fixed. It was only like $400. Everything's good on it now. So I sat and I gutted this entire car, and just so much stuff has happened from it. I didn't know anything about it. I've just seen the movies. And randomly, like, I started finding more stuff about it, and I stumbled upon the seatbelts that are in them, and they stopped making them in the 90s, and they run for like $800 to $2,000 for these seatbelts. And I'm like, I'm broke. I'm in college. I can't afford $2,000 seatbelts. So I found these people in China to make them, and I sourced them from them, and I got a pair for myself, but it was a 10 quantity minimum. And I'm on this Facebook page with a bunch of Eclipse sellers, and I was just like, I got 8 pairs left. Whoever wants them, I'll sell them for $100. I got 40 messages for people that wanted to buy them. So I'm like, fuck, so I bought like 60 more pairs, and I've just been selling them for like $150. So I've been making 120 profit off of each pair of seatbelts. So I got really into that, and through that I've been meeting a lot of people. I met this guy in Kenosha. He's building the same one, and this guy, he studied the guy that like made the car for the actual movie, so he knows every single detail about this thing. So like I sit and text him like a couple times a week, and he tells me every single thing to know about this car. And,
Really?
There's a lot of stuff you don't notice about it, but I'm like, wow, that actually makes the car, when you see the seats, the seatbelts and stuff in the inside.
Yeah, what's something a normal person wouldn't get from just like looking at this picture, or just
I mean, it's just like, because
what
like
goes into it that we don't
when
know.
you look at them, like look at the top right picture, other side. Yeah, no worries. No.
No, hit X on it. Hit
The left
X
one,
on it.
right on the left of this one. Yeah, there you go. So that whole gauge cluster, if you look in the middle, do you see what I'm talking about with all the
Yeah.
that whole thing is completely not stock, so you have to have someone customize like an entire thing of that. And
so they built that custom for the movie.
Yeah, and then also there's like switches on the right side of the steering wheel that whole thing is completely custom.
Really?
So like if you're selling to like a museum or something like that, you need that to be accurate.
Yeah.
So I met a lot of people to do that. I met guys that make them, and then I forget, on Facebook or something. Facebook has like so many connections. You can see,
Facebook is wild, bro.
Yeah, like just like who would ever think they have a Facebook page for just the Eclipse from Fast and Furious? So weird. It's just builders, all across the entire world. Like there's people in Italy, Germany making these cars.
I know a guy that works at Target that he drives. I used to work at Target, so an Eclipse is kind of a meme for me and my friends.
Sure, yeah.
Not this Eclipse. It's like a 2000. I'm thinking like a 2003 to 2007 one.
Yeah.
Because this guy, he has a Mercedes, something like a lime green Mercedes that looks like this kind of. And we just used to give him shit and say that it was just an Eclipse with a kid on it.
Dude, literally,
he would get so mad.
Well, no, bro. Like, I mean, these cars, like, they're not expensive cars that they use for the movies, but it's just that they're iconic now.
Yeah.
So, like, we used to make fun of him too, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, if this wasn't in Fast and Furious, I'd make fun of a dude driving one
What's
of these.
the plot of Fast and Furious? I've
never seen it?
them. Never
Damn.
seen a single one.
So,
Because I know now it's crazy.
okay, yeah,
Now
now,
they're over the
bro,
top.
like,
Now
High
they're
key-
Marvel movies essentially.
yeah, they're crazy now. Let me get closer to the mic. But yeah. So the first one, it started off. So Paul Walker, he was just like he was a street racer, and he liked this girl that worked at a shop, which was Vin Diesel's sister in the movie, and I don't know why they got pissed at him for going there. So like, they kicked him out, and then Vin Diesel like owns the shop that Paul Walker works at in the movie. So Paul Walker's like, damn, I'm not gonna lose my job. So he goes to this like race, and he said they race for money, and he's like, I don't want money. If I win the race, I want my job back, and I want your respect, you know. So he does this. He loses the race, but Vin Diesel's like, you know, you have to give me your car now. But then all the police show up, and then Paul Walker's the only one to save Vin Diesel from the police. So Vin Diesel's like, you know what? You got my respect. You're fucking cool. So then they work together, and then you find out Paul Walker's a cop.
Wow.
And Paul Walker is trying to take down Vin Diesel because Vin Diesel is hijacking like semi-trucks and stuff. So it's a lot going on, but the first couple movies, the first and the second are really good. Third one's really good. Fifth's really good, and then but
then they're movies after
yeah,
that.
yeah. Right.
Wow.
But yeah, so you know,
It's all about family though. That's what I hear.
yeah, you know, you gotta love it.
Have you met Vin Diesel?
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel is like the biggest joke to me. He's so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like
dude.
if there's like this interview, I don't know if you guys could pull it up, but like he's like, it's for like the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 thing, and it's like this kid, and he yells, he's like, "Hey, Vin Diesel for family," and then Vin Diesel like throws his hands in the air, and he's like, "Family."
Really?
And we're like,
Wow.
dude, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
dude, he's just goofy. I heard him talking about the Fast and Furious movie, like the new one when it came out. He's on the red carpet. They were like asking about it, and he was just like talking about how it's like this masterpiece of cinema.
Yeah, dude,
and
it's
it's
crazy.
like the most beautiful writing. And
yeah,
all,
we're taking it back to the roots.
yeah,
Like,
and then he's like, and who knows? Like we might do another 10. You never know. And like,
Yeah,
I'm
right?
like, where the there was? I saw a clip from the trailer. Okay, I've never seen the movie, so maybe I'm just hating. Maybe I'm just hating. You can tell me if I'm hating. There was a clip from the new one where he drove off an interstate thing, and he's in the air, and a helicopter shoots him with a harpoon into the car.
Yep.
And then another helicopter shoots another harpoon in the other side of the car. And then he somehow shifts gears in the car, and that he's able to then throw both of their chained harpoons and them forward into each other, and they explode, and then he just continues driving. And I'm like, so he just has telekinesis now.
Dude, yeah, like I'm telling you, these movies, they've gotten, like, Hollywood's gotten to them is all I'm saying, because like the first one was made on what was that channel for like music and stuff?
MTV?
Yeah, it was an MTV movie. It was a low budget movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a super low budget movie. Paul Walker wasn't that big of an actor and stuff, and like he's huge now. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P. But yeah, so like it started off like that, and then Hollywood really got to them. But like honestly, like a lot of people hate on it, but like I low-key find it so funny.
Yeah.
Now that I just want it to be as ridiculous as possible. Like they were talking about like combining Jurassic Park and Fast and Furious. I think that shit would be so funny.
They might as well.
Yeah, like
dude.
I think it would be so funny,
They
bro.
might
Like,
as well at that point.
yeah.
Have you met any of the cast?
Oh yeah, yeah. So Milwaukee, they had Auto Show, and Hector from the first movie, who's like one of the first characters to talk to Paul.
Isn't the actor that plays him, his name is Hector too?
No, his name is Noel, but every single movie he's in, his name's Hector.
Okay.
It's like a joke because like he's like half Mexican, half Italian, and he's like running a joke that like every single Hollywood movie that there's a Mexican, they name him like Hector.
Yeah.
So like he just goes by Hector in every single movie, and he goes by Hector in real life now too. So
Really? Wow.
yeah, but yeah, so we met up there. Like I didn't really know anything about it. Like I was just like, oh, he's in the movie. He could sign a part for my car. That would make the price go up. That'd be dope. So we met him, you know, and he told us about that in Florida they were having like a huge car show there. So I was like, oh, sweet, you know. And I didn't really know much about it. I was like kind of just like talking out of my butt. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll be there. Like that's so cool.
Yeah.
You know, I got my picture, I got my part signed. But then like I was reading more about it, and they're like the original car from Fast and Furious 1 that Paul Walker drove is gonna be there. So I'm like, well, I got to see that because I want to make it as accurate as possible to this car. So then I flew to Florida, went to this convention, Which, bro, that's the first trip I've ever been on by myself. That's so awkward, man.
Really?
Have you ever traveled by yourself?
To meet people, yes.
Yeah. So I ended up meeting with like Dio and my cousins and stuff later.
Yeah.
But like the first 2 days I was there by myself. So I was like eating. There's like this fire ass Mexican place called El Tenepa in Orlando. Dude, so gas.
Yeah.
But so I was eating there by myself, bro. I felt so awkward.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like.
I kind of like it sometimes. I'm
Really?
not gonna lie, yeah.
I just would like if I'm gonna eat by myself, I'd rather eat in my car or something, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean going out, dude. There's an old clip of me on this podcast saying like I would refuse to go out and eat alone.
Yeah, dude, but
that was years and years ago.
Yeah,
now
yeah.
I feel much better about it.
Well, yeah, I think like now that I've done it, I feel less weird. But like I just felt like weird because I'm not gonna just like stare in front of me, so I was just like sitting on my phone, and stuff. But yeah, so I went to this convention. You know, I met back up with Hector and stuff. He was like hyped to see me, and I was like, I'm surprised you even remember who I am. He's like, bro, you made it? I'm like, what the heck? But then the guy that owns the car, he has this company called the Fast Garage. He's on TikTok. He owns the original Eclipse, the original truck from the first movie, and he's built like a bunch of cars.
Yeah.
And he like was sitting and talking to me, and he's like, bro, you came from Wisconsin, that's fucking crazy and stuff. And I was like, yeah. He's like, you're so dedicated. He's like, I don't do this, but I'm going to take a picture of you and you sit in the car. And I was like...
in the original car?
Yeah, so I was in the car that Paul Walker drove.
Wow.
So...
is this car drivable, by the way?
Yeah, he drove it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
he drove it there.
Yeah, and he never, like, restored it. So it's exactly the same from, like, there's the cracks from in the movie and stuff. So it's just, like, really cool to see. You know, like, when you're growing up, like, that's, like, seeing, like, the Millennium Falcon that they used in the movie or something, you know? Like... Yeah. It's just like a really cool thing to see, like the actual thing, and for him to let me sit in it, that was just a really cool experience for me, and I just felt like crazy because everyone was like, "Oh, can I sit in it?" And he's like, "Nah," and I was just like, "Dude,
nah, y'all ain't
coming
from Wisconsin, bro."
Yeah, it was so cool, and like he thanked me and stuff, and I was like, I didn't do anything, but all right, you know. So I met like a bunch of the cast there and stuff. They signed parts for my car, so
dude, that's super cool.
Yeah, so it's just been. We started off, you know, we were talking about like, you know, when you're just like kind of over obsessed with stuff, like you don't know how far you can get into stuff, and I feel like that's kind of how I've gone with this car. Like, yeah, it's crazy,
especially now with social media and stuff like that, man. There's a lot of people who like, I mean, if you just like hyper focus on one thing and you make content about that one thing, like you realize that there's a lot of other people that love that.
Oh yeah,
and there's a lot of power in that too.
Dude, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what I thought there would only be like, you know, like 10 other people building this car, but like I'm at like 5 just in Wisconsin that are building this car. So like, you know, like I'm the youngest one that I know, but like, you know, meeting these guys, they're super nice and stuff, and they try to help each other out, which is really cool to have a community like that.
Do you know, it'd be really cool if they got you guys all together and you guys had to do like a race.
That'd be fucking sick.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Like a death race.
Yeah. Oh, you like to the death?
Yeah.
Hell
Isn't
yeah.
that a movie too? Death Race? Isn't that like a
well, I mean, like not
Fast and Furious movie?
Not specifically. They end up dying in like every movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they come back to life. So.
That's so awesome, man.
Yeah, like
that's awesome.
Like, you know, have you seen Wonder Woman? Like you know who Gal Gadot is?
Yeah.
Yeah. She like fell out of an airplane in the 6th movie and like literally got crushed, but she's coming back in the new 11th movie.
Wow.
So like, bro, like I don't even know at this point. Like, it's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's definitely something.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Maybe you will meet Vin Diesel someday, man.
Bro, I'm gonna try. I'm trying to meet as many people as I can. We'll see.
Yeah.
My plan was to build this car and sell it, but like, you know, everyone was telling me they're like, once you build it, you're not gonna want to sell it, and I'm like, that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm gonna sell it at some point, but like not right now. You know.
What if you got it done? Like, I'm sure like museums, like even pop-up museums and stuff like that, they probably pay you to bring it out.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right?
I mean, like,
then you could still keep it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know like Marcus a few years ago, they rented a DeLorean for like Back to the Future and stuff when that came back. Yeah. So, you know, if they ever bring those movies back, they can rent it off me. I don't care, you know.
Yeah. Well, that'd be cool.
I'm cool with that, you know. Or they have a thing called what is it? It's like it's kind of like Uber, or not Uber. It's like Airbnb, but for cars.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
You can rent like a Tesla truck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you could do stuff like that. I no one in California has done that, like, which is surprising to me because they have all the locations from Fast and Furious. So like, if I went to California, I'd pay $500 to rent the car and drive to all the locations. I think that'd be dope.
Yeah,
You know?
that'd be a wild experience. I'm sure a lot of people would too.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. So like, maybe something like that would come up.
Who's your favorite character in Fast and Furious?
Paul Walker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many movies is he in? 7?
7, yeah.
Wow.
Or 7.
Did
Yeah.
he do any other movies, that guy?
Yeah, not like super well-known movies, I don't think. But he was like, he did a lot of crazy shit. He was a marine biologist.
Wow.
Yeah, and he, like, I believe he did every stunt scene himself, like for the
Okay.
racing and stuff. He was like a professional driver and stuff.
That's always cool when actors do that. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is about it. That's cool, but it is. The same thing with John
Yeah.
Wick, like Keanu Reeves does like
Yeah,
95%
exactly.
of the stuff.
Well, it's just like cool to see people like care enough about their like craft that they want to learn how to do stuff like that in real life.
yeah, wild, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
wild.
Hey, thanks for watching there, guy. Click right over here if you want to see that episode in its entirety. Or you can click over here and subscribe to the channel. See all the other fun shit we do here. It's really up to you, guy.